ready to roll. Nice. All right, we should be good.
Okay.
Ugh.
Let's see, where is it? Just wait until the live shows up and I'll link it out. Let's see. Nothing yet. You're live, right? On Harrison Putnam?
Yeah. Yeah, but showing live on, on my screen.
Oh, let me restart my YouTube. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. To
Okay.
GF and Expo Showcase. All right, tweet it out.
All right,
Tweet
we'll
it
get
and
the
get it.
I'll get the intro rolling and we'll start.
Let's do it.
What's going up? What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Gaming with the Bros Cast. Yeah, a professional podcast was restart, but we're not doing that here. In fact, we are just going to dive straight in. Nick already, if you're watching the video, Nick already did his little Switch 2 thing.
Yep.
But yeah, this is the big Switch 2 blowout. We both have had it for a few days now since it launched. So we've got a ton of impressions to give for it. But my name is Harrison. I am joined by my brother Nick as always. Nick, how you doing, buddy, on this feel good Monday?
I'm buzzing, man. Still buzzing. It's been a fun weekend. The launch was incredibly fun. It's been awesome. The Switch 2 launch it's been really great. I'm blown away. Very satisfied.
Sweet.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I ended up taking Thursday and Friday off, so like I'm now in like that, semi vacation turnaround mode.
Got the blues
and the Switch 2 all weekend. I mean, the vibes were just immaculate. Even like Wednesday afternoon when I was working, I was like, man, I just feel really, really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, before we dive into the actual Switch, tell me about your launch experience, because you went to the midnight launch for Best Buy.
I did, and right before I went to the midnight launch, you and I jumped into a round of Elden Ring Night Rain, and just played a quick round that was great.
Yeah.
And then we got done, and it was around 10. It's like, okay, I probably can't play another one because I want to get over there relatively soon. So I left.
Yeah.
I think I got to Best Buy around 11, and I got there, and there was a line on either side. There was a line on the left that had about 25 people in line, and then there was a line on the right that had 100 people in line.
Jeez.
So I scoped both of them out, and I started walking towards the right one for some reason, because I don't know. I just felt like that was the right thing to do. And then I was like, okay, that's probably not right. So I went back to the left, asked someone, and I was like, hey, is this like the pre-order line? Like, yeah, this is the pre-order line.
Yeah.
Fucking perfect. That's awesome. Because I mean, it was a really long line on the right hand
Yeah.
side, and I'm
I
glad
mean, you would have
got
gotten
there.
it either way because you had a pre-order, but yeah, you'd have to go through all that process of waiting.
So yeah, I mean, I'll actually get to that, but that was potentially a problem. So I'm glad I got there when I did because 75 plus people probably showed up behind me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it was people. I mean, people were excited. You know,
Yeah,
it,
dude.
it was in the air.
Just the vibes because I was watching like Nintendo Prime stream because he was streaming outside of GameStop,
Mhm.
and yeah, people just seem so excited for it, and that feels so good because yeah, I mean we both got one, and we were excited either way, but it feels good when you see other people like excited about video games because like there's so much grifting and there's still grifting going on about the Switch 2 even after its launch. But yeah, it just feels good for people just to be together, be excited
Yeah,
for video games. Yeah,
like
just awesome.
the guy standing in front of me was playing SMT4 on his 3DS, and he got a street pass with someone else, and
Hell
like this
yeah.
guy like came by him and like kind of sat by him for a second so they could street pass, and then he walked away. The Best Buy employees had some pizza that they were giving out, which was really cool. There was an employee dressed up as Mario. Uh, there was like a film crew that came out and was interviewing the first person in line. I don't know what time that guy got there, but
Probably pretty
probably pretty
Re-
early in the day.
pretty early, yeah.
But then they opened up the lines for both sides for the people who are purchasing and then the pre-orders. The people who are purchasing, that line was going way faster.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, I was listening in to the Best Buy employees talking, and they're like, "Yeah, man, I don't know if everyone who pre-ordered will be able to pick theirs up tonight because we have to close at 2." Because
That would piss me off.
yeah, that would suck. And I'm sure that everyone was able to get in and get their pre-order. But the problem was is that there was only one like checkout station for the
Yeah.
pre-orders.
And see, they should
And
not because I was watching Kit and Krista's like vlog
Mhm.
for GameStop. And the way they did it, and it would have really ticked me off, is they allow people to pre-order like all the way up until like 9 p.m. that night. And then they were taking the people that pre-ordered that day first. And then the people
Why?
that pre-ordered like a month ago, that's when they got them in. So just
See,
yeah,
that's
just
stupid.
I personally I don't think they should have allowed people to I think they should have done the midnight release for people that pre-ordered, you know, get everyone through that made it off, and then obviously have a cutoff of like 1 or 2, whatever the case is, and then open early or open, normal hours the next day and have people wait. That's the way I think I would have done it because yeah,
Right.
that would have ticked me off if I was like 100th in line and I had pre-ordered it and then all of a sudden I'm at risk of not getting one and people that pre-ordered that day or buying that day get in like yeah that would have irritated me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the best way to do it. I mean, I guess they should have like cut it. Yeah, just cut it off at a certain point, or don't allow pre-orders like walk-in pre-orders that day. I don't know, but I mean, as long as everyone got one,
Yeah,
then no harm,
yeah.
no
I'd be
foul.
curious. I'd be curious if anybody wasn't able to get one.
Right.
I'm sure people would have been fucking. They would have rioted at that Best Buy. Be like, what the hell? This is
Well, yeah,
bullshit.
because like that's such a waste of time. Because
Yeah.
on any other night, I wouldn't be driving to Best Buy at midnight. You know what I
No,
mean?
nobody
Like,
would. Yeah.
no one would, of course. But that being said, the pickup experience was really cool. I felt bad because I had placed like 3 separate orders. Like I had done the Switch, and then I had the Pro Controller and the camera, and then my last order was like the SD card. And
You probably weren't the only one. I think a lot of people probably just were just wanting to get that Switch too, and they didn't want to add anything else to the cart, and then they just checked out, and then
Yeah.
like the next day or so that's when they bought. So I'm sure you were not the only one in that boat of having
Yeah.
multiple orders.
I mean, I definitely saw a lot of people walk out with just the Switch too,
Yeah.
or like with a small bag, and then my bag was like filled to the brim with all these stupid accessories. And it's like, man, I feel like such a consumer, but at the same time,
We haven't had one in
it's
8
Switch 2.
years,
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
it's
been 8
exciting.
years. And
That's what I did for like when I did the Switch 1 Best Buy midnight release, I had just pre-ordered the Switch, and when I got through the line, they're like, "Hey, we've got these amiibos and stuff. Like, do you want to get any?" Like, I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And
Yeah.
then you know,
Then you got them.
then I got them. Yeah,
Yeah. So I was out of there by 12:30.
okay,
So
that's not too bad.
pretty early, and then I got back maybe 12:45, 12:50, and then set up the Switch. That took a while. It took like
Yeah,
45 minutes to get it set up. And then I played a little bit of Mario Kart and a little bit of Zelda.
yeah,
And then went to bed. You know, I
that's
wasn't
yeah,
I wasn't willing to stay up until, 4 a.m.,
yeah,
especially since I had work the next day,
yeah, yeah.
I'm not that irresponsible. As much as I
Whoa.
want to be sometimes, I'm like, yeah, I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to
Yeah,
bed.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
But what about you? You ordered from Walmart, and
Order
they
from Walmart.
promised delivery before 9 a.m. So tell me about your experience.
Yeah, so I think the day, like, or Wednesday, the 4th, my and I think everybody's changed, but it changed to deliver by 10 a.m. And I'm like, whoa, 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 Walmart, what
What
are
are
we
we
doing here?
doing?
Where you're screwing up my steeziness right now. And then I went on Twitter. And I mean, I wasn't really like upset or anything like that. They said it was guaranteed. So I was like, I trust them, sure. Went on
Mhm.
Twitter and Jake Randall had said something. He's like, yeah,
He's
everyone's
on.
got this. It's all good. It's still guaranteed by 9. So I was like, all right, whatever, all good. Um, stayed up, watched a couple of live streams of people getting the Switch too.
Mhm.
And then then they got back to the house and started unboxing. I'm like, all right, I got to go to bed. I can't
The
watch an
FOMO's kicking in
unboxing.
too much. I
Yeah,
got I
very
gotta
much
go to
so.
sleep.
And then I got up with my son Kellen and got him to school. And like as I was getting up, I just looked at my phone and it was like, your Switch 2's been delivered. I was like, what the fuck? And it was like 6 o'clock.
Dang.
Or no, it was like I think I set my alarm at like 6:15 and I got up and it was like delivered 10 minutes ago or something like that.
Wow.
And then I got him his cereal and then I'm like, Kellen, guess what's outside? He's like, is it the Switch 2? And I'm like, yep. And then I walked out and they had like, it was in like this, because it rained hard that day. And it wasn't quite raining yet, but it was starting to kind of mist a little bit.
Mhm.
But Walmart, they had it like wrapped in like a really nice, not nice, but like a bag or whatever, like a sealed, I'm not gonna say waterproof bag, but it was like a completely sealed bag.
Yeah.
And then I put it on the counter and I was tired, dude. I didn't really sleep super, super well. So I actually went back to sleep because my wife was getting up for work because she leaves about 8 o'clock every morning. And I was like, all right, well, I'll just, I'll get Kellen to school, come back and I'll lay down for 30 minutes. I ended up falling asleep. And so I didn't actually wake up and think until like 10 maybe.
Oh,
And then I
dang.
got up and I was like, whatever, like I got it. The bag's secured, like
Bag secured. You have the
bag
day. You
secured.
have
I
2
know,
days off.
2 days off, 4 days off at the weekend. So I was like, I'm gonna get my time in. So I wasn't upset. And then came downstairs and it's different when like you do YouTube and you want to like upload TikToks because like, all right, I gotta like set everything up. And I already had most of everything prepared, but it's like I really just wanted to dive in, but I
I
had to
know.
like
Yeah.
set up, do the unboxing experience and stuff like that. But yeah, I opened up Walmart and there was like a tote bag in there, and I was like, well, what is this? I was like, I only ordered the Switch. And then I opened it up. There's like this nice little note that said, thank you for ordering the Switch 2. Here's, a little gamer snack on us or something. And it was an orange creamsicle Coke, which is disgusting. I still have it in the fridge. I'm gonna try it just because. But I was like, that's so random. And then it was the pizza Pringles, which are pretty fire.
Pretty fire.
So
Yeah.
that came in clutch. So I mean, they didn't have to do that.
Well,
That was pretty cool.
I think they did it so that they could get the grocery delivery drivers. Like if
Oh.
they almost disguise it as a grocery delivery, then they can get those drivers to deliver before
that
a
makes
certain
sense.
time.
Okay, well that's cool. That's very
Don't
smart.
Don't
So
quote me on that, but I feel like I've heard that.
yeah, no,
somewhere.
that makes perfect sense. So yeah, I'm very pleased with Walmart. I mean, I really haven't had. I mean, they were the ones that delivered my Xbox, and they got it there pretty early when that
Mhm.
released. I think they got it there by like 10. So a very good experience with Walmart. I don't know about everybody else's experience. Obviously, it's gonna be hit or miss depending on where you live. I guess if your Walmart's not, there's a lot of not shit Walmarts. Let's be real, but at least I've got. It sounds like I've got a couple good ones here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good experience. It was great.
It sounded like Best Buy and Walmart were the ways to go. I mean,
Target, I
GameStop,
heard, was just a shit show all like throughout the entire process. Like the pre-ordering was horrible. Their website was terrible.
mhm.
I know Best Buy had some issues. I mean, everyone kind of did, but and a lot of times they didn't even guarantee street date. It was coming after the fact, so like
I
that
don't think
also
any Target
sucks.
orders
Really, none of
arrive
them,
on launch day. Yeah.
which is crazy because, and I promise we're gonna get into the Switch 2 here in a second, but Kellen and I, we went out on Friday. I took him to our local like science center because he's been asking me for a couple of weeks, and they close at 5 every day, and he gets out of school at like 3:45, so it's like just kind of impossible to go. So I was like, you know what, Friday's off. Like I'm off on Friday. I'm just gonna go. And I took him, and then he wanted to go get some Pokemon cards, so we went to Target, and we got some, and then I was like, you know what, let me just look. And I went to the back, and they had 10, like at least, of Switch 2s behind the glass with completely stocked up with games,
Mhm.
controllers, accessories, cameras, all the works that you need. So I don't know if that specific Target just didn't get a lot of pre-orders, or they just had
I think they had
Nintendo
stock.
was just ready, which is awesome. So it feel, and I obviously there's people that didn't get one and still can't, but it feels like this is one of the best launches, I think, in recent memory for a console. I feel like if you had a better shot of getting one day one, versus like the PS5 was like, just obviously that was during COVID, so it was just impossible
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good experience. I went to GameStop that on Thursday, picked up Cyberpunk and Bravely Default, and everybody was buying games at GameStop. That's the first time I've ever been to a GameStop in a long time where it wasn't just people buying like
Funko Pops and
Funko Pops and Pokemon cards and whatever else. Like
were they
everybody
buying
was.
Switch 2 games? Is
I
that
saw,
was that the
yeah, I saw a couple of people getting Switch 2 games.
nice?
So it was cool. It was, and it was like, I know like usually a lot of people say rain's gonna ruin your day, but it was like pouring rain, and I was just like, this is awesome. Like a rainy day, Switch all day,
No
baby.
reason to go outside. Like,
and no reason to touch grass. Let's
yeah,
go.
perfect excuse. I also went to Target on Thursday and I picked up Bravely Default. I really thought about getting Cyberpunk,
Yeah,
but
I mean you beat it already.
I
So,
beat it, and like I'm close to finishing the Phantom Liberty campaign, so like I just couldn't justify it.
Yeah,
But when I was checking out, I did ask the employee if they like how their launch experience went. He was like, I didn't work this morning, but we had like 60 units, and I mean obviously like the pre-orders sold out,
yeah.
and I don't think they had any extra units
No,
after
probably
that.
not. Yeah,
So I guess it varies from Target to Target, or from
course,
store
yeah.
to store. But it sounds like there were ample opportunity.
Yeah.
There's ample opportunity to get a Switch 2 if you like, I guess, really tried hard enough. I mean, even if you tried hard, you still might not get one. But they were available.
It was a better shot. Like
was a
I
better
said,
shot, yeah.
it seems like it was a better launch than
Than,
most of
yeah,
the launches
Xbox,
for
PS5.
Xbox, PlayStation 5. But that's kind of what I don't know if it was a rumor more so than like speculation or what the case, but like we were talking about how Nintendo already had Nintendo Switch 2s in the US like months and months before it was ready to go. So I think they were just prepared.
They were ready.
Yeah, and I don't think it had anything to do with like I mean, maybe they wanted to get them in here before the tariff situation got out of hand, and that probably sped up the process of that. But also like they wanted to combat scalpers, and I haven't seen anything online. I mean, I'm sure there's people online posting Switch 2s for like $600 or $700, and I'm sure people are buying them. But
Right.
yeah,
I
just
mean,
to
I don't
try to
know.
combat that stuff. Yeah.
Well, shall we dive into the system itself?
Let's dive in. Like we'll dive into the games here in a moment, but like what are your feelings about the actual tablet itself? Like
Just I mean, off the bat, it feels more premium. I feel like the matte finish like gives it a more premium feel. I love how the Joy-Cons kind of click in. I think that's going to be a lot better for longevity with the
Yeah.
Switch 2. The screen's huge. I mean, it's really really great looking screen. I know it's not an OLED screen, but I mean,
Like,
this
who,
is
like I think the
sizable.
people that are like complaining about it not being OLED, just see one in person and play on it.
Mhm.
I mean, come on, like the difference in like how LCD technology was back then versus now, like it's night and day. And I think it's obviously an OLED looks better. Like I'm not saying that, but I think this one looks fantastic.
Yeah. My only problem with it functionally so far is since it is a bit heavier, it's a bit harder to play like when you're laying in bed at night.
I have had that issue too. I kind of
My
wish,
my hands kind of fall asleep, or my fingers kind of fall asleep when I'm playing.
yeah. I kind and granted, I can get a grip or something, but I kind of wish like there was like a little bit of a
It
curve
needs like a
to the
raised,
Joy-Cons.
yep, a raised bottom. And maybe they'll release. I mean, we said the same thing about the Switch 1, and they didn't do shit with it. But
Yeah.
maybe they'll release like different styles of Joy-Cons, like kind of more in line with.
See,
something
that would
like
be
the GameCube
cool.
controller.
That would be very cool if like they just did like another version of a Joy-Con that's not stock, and that's
Mhm.
that at least that gives people the option. But like I said,
Right.
there's like grips and stuff you can get that'll kind of combat that issue. But yeah, that's the only thing I'd kind of dislike. I'm not gonna say dislike, it's just a minor inconvenience when you're laying in bed playing.
Right.
It is heavy. It is. It's a lot
It's pretty
heavier than the OLED.
But the Joy-Cons themselves they're a little bit bigger. I like the SL, SR buttons are a bit bigger.
So much better.
If you're playing in this mode, which I'm not going to much, but if you are playing in this mode, it's a bit easier to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was playing.
Yeah.
So like Thursday, none of my stuff from Best Buy arrived on Thursday. It all came Friday. So like the camera, the Pro controller, and some amiibos didn't come until the next day. But so me and Kellen played a ton of Mario Kart with the Joy-Cons, and yeah, it was a much better experience than versus the Switch 1 Joy-Cons. It's actually playable. Like I found it pretty unplayable. Like a Mario Kart 8 with the Joy-Cons, it's not fun at all. And at least with this one,
experience.
Obviously the Pro controller is the way to go for sure. But
yeah, you got a Kellen behind you.
But so yeah, controllers are much better.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the Pro controller.
Okay. I love this thing, man.
One of the best feeling controllers.
It might be. It might be. I think PlayStation 5 controller was maybe up there for me. I like that. I do like that controller a lot. But this controller, just the feeling, like the smoothness it had, like the rubberized kind of finish it has on it.
Oh,
feels so nice. The sticks feel great.
Oh,
I haven't even messed with like the buttons on the back yet. I haven't like programmed them for anything, but it just feels good, man. It feels premium, and like that's it feels good.
Feels good. Is it
$90 controller?
Is it $90 premium? I don't know, but I'm glad I have it.
It's for sure.
It's been great to play with. I mean,
I definitely won't be picking up because I have 3 of these. The regular Pro controllers. I'm probably not going to be doing that in the Switch's life cycle. The Switch 2 life cycle, unless there's some really really cool.
Like the next
controller.
3D Zelda.
Yeah, something like that, maybe. But we'll see. But yeah, the controller is excellent. I mean, it feels good to hold, man.
It feels real good to hold.
Feels right.
All right, what next?
Let's talk about the camera. What are your thoughts? I mean, I wasn't going to get the camera at first because it is very, very gimmicky. I mean, we both tried it now. But after unboxing it, again, I'm going to use the word premium again, but it's got like the metal kind of finish to it. It feels really cool. It's got like kind of like the weighted stand.
Yeah, weighted base.
The quality isn't super great, but I don't need it to be. I'm not going to be using this thing all the time. Like I'll probably, if I ever see you online, we'll jump into a game chat. And the game chat software is actually really cool. It's very like intuitive. Like it's very easy to use, set up. switch, like you can zoom in and out on the camera. All that stuff is super, super easy to set up, which is very, very nice.
Yeah, and you can like switch the views so you can see the other person's screen as your main view, or you can switch it so they're down below and you also see what you're streaming. So it's really cool. Like when we were figuring out how to freaking play multiplayer on Mario Kart, I was like looking at your screen to see what you were doing, so I knew when to press start or knew when to look for a match. It's got some really cool stuff. Like you can definitely show off games to like your friends that way.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like you guys got to see this game that I've been playing. Like I can see that kind of stuff being really cool, or just sitting around shooting the shit while you're each playing an individual game. Like there's a lot of opportunity there, and it does make me excited for something like Mario Party Jamboree, just to see what that could do with the camera.
Continue talking. I'll be right back.
Okay. Even though that's like super gimmicky with what Jamboree is offering from what I've seen, I don't know. Could be cool. Could be cool.
All right. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just saying Jamboree seems more exciting to me now that I've used the camera.
Yeah, it does. It seems more exciting. And this is like definitely one of those, if people that don't game on PC that don't use Discord all the time, like this feels like Nintendo's version of Discord, where you can kind of just hang out and chat with your friends. And, even if you're not playing the same thing, you can all be playing something completely different. So yeah, something like Jamboree would be super fun, I think. So yeah. And it can game chat be used? I assume it could be used as like Switch 1 games, right? Like if you're just playing just a normal Switch 1 game?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. And you don't need a camera for game chat either.
No. Yeah. You just have to have the subscription for you don't have to have it now.
Free for now. Yeah.
But in a year you will.
Try it for a year.
Yeah. Game chat's super cool. I like the camera. I'm wondering if I know the Hori camera, you can take it off of the stand and put it on the Switch, and like that would probably be super heavy, I would imagine. Or awkward. I don't know if you would.
Cool concept though. Yeah.
I'm wondering if Nintendo will release another camera that is like maybe just the camera that just plugs in at some point. I don't know if that's possible.
Maybe just like a little tiny camera would be cool.
Yeah. I mean, they could literally just do the camera that's on here and just take it off. And then I'm surprised they didn't do that, to be honest.
Yeah, something to charge you for later.
Yeah, that's true.
Another thing to buy.
Yeah, another thing to buy.
Any other accessories?
I mean, I got a third-party game case. I've already kind of talked about that. Nothing special with the game case.
I did get the Mario Kart wheels.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Have you used them a lot?
Not too much.
Okay.
Me and Alicia played Mario Kart, and she used the wheel, and she was using motion controls.
Yeah.
They're fine. They're not anything crazy. It was pretty cheap. I just want to see it.
Yeah, it's just like a wheel mold,
Just a wheel mold. Yeah, just a 3D printed wheel mold. So
that's cool.
Yeah, but I think that's all the accessories that I got.
Is there any other accessories that you are thinking about picking up, or any other additional things right now? Or are you just,
no, I mean, I have the SD card.
Yeah, I still need that. And after I got everything set up and it started downloading everything, I got completely full.
Yeah,
but I had I had Hogwarts Legacy on there twice, so I deleted the Switch 1 version. I had the Fortnite Switch 1 version on there, so I had to delete that. So that after that, it really opened up my space. So I'm definitely going to need one sooner rather than later. But it's okay.
Nice. And then I have a screen protector that I still need to put on eventually. But
yeah, it does have like a one on there that Nintendo says not to remove.
Right.
But you still want that extra one.
You still want an extra.
And out of like the hundreds of screen protectors I've put on in my lifetime, I struggled so hard with this one. I don't know why. And I forgot that when you take that film layer off, like the little plastic piece on the screen protector itself, that's the side that's supposed to go down. And for some reason, I just didn't think about that, so I stuck it down. I'm like, why isn't you see like the bubbles clear out? Like that wasn't happening. And I was getting so irritated because every time I pulled it off, I had to re-wipe it down with like the duster thing. And I'm like, oh, I was getting so frustrated. And then I finally was like, oh, I'm just an idiot.
You're just doing wrong.
I'm just a dum-dum. So yeah, I mean, accessories for what I have, all good. I don't plan on getting anything else for a while. At this point, it's just games, right? Donkey Kong's next month. Cannot wait for that. So yeah, let's talk about the games and what we play. And obviously, you want to start with Mario Kart?
Let's start with Mario Kart.
Okay. So I guess I'll preface. I'm not the world's biggest Mario Kart fan. I did not play a ton of Mario Kart 8. For whatever. I mean, I enjoyed when I played it, but I never had that itch to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
So jumping into this, it really was a fresh experience. So, yeah, it's a great game. I had a thought, but I lost.
That's okay. So I played a ton of Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, and then played a solid amount on the Switch, but definitely not as much as I played on the Wii U.
Yeah.
So like I didn't play any of the booster pack courses. I wasn't that into Mario Kart 8 on the Switch.
Yeah,
so kind of like you, super fresh experience. The courses themselves are great. I've been having a ton of fun with those. The open world, there's not a ton to do, but I have been loving the P-Switch challenges. Like I'm a sucker for a challenge like this. So this has been really, really fun. And then it's also just fun to kind of drive around the world. So yeah, it's obviously like, I don't think the free roam is the selling point of the game.
It's definitely not that single player experience that I was wanting from Mario Kart. It seemed like it at first, but yeah, after actually getting in there, it's definitely not. And it doesn't seem like there's a ton of secrets to find either, which is a little disappointing. I know you can go and find like
there's a good amount,
the bags and stuff, and like, but is there stuff to find other than the P-switches?
I mean, nothing that's
like,
yeah. There's the P-switches. There's the question blocks that you can find.
Yeah.
There's the Peach medallions that you can find. So I mean, there's a lot of different like collectibles that you can get, but nothing that like mechanically changes the game. And and then there's like a bunch of just random cool stuff that you can do, like, oh, you can drive into a truck and then you can start driving that truck, or I mean, that kind of stuff. So it's very open-ended. It's not it's not story driven. It's very much like player driven, I guess is the right way to say it. So you kind of just make your own fun, do your own challenges, and just kind of zone out.
Yeah.
So that's been my experience with it. And then Knockout Tour, of course, is phenomenal.
Like the meat and potatoes of this game. Yeah, it is so much fun.
It's very frenetic. Like,
yes.
24 players is kind of crazy because you can go from first to 24th just as quickly as you can go from 24th place to first place. It all just depends on your luck.
It's very, very luck based for sure. I mean, there's definitely some skill involved because like the movement in this game is pretty incredible. Like it's very, very fast, very, very seamless.
Yeah, the wall riding, the grinding is awesome.
Jump, grinding, all that stuff is brand new to Mario Kart. But so as someone who's played it way more than I have, the Mario Kart 8, other than free roam, which is cool, but it's not like super in depth. Knockout Tour, and then just the new movement in general. Is there anything else that's new to this? I know they kind of changed the way characters work, but I heard that characters still also have stats as well. They're hidden.
They have like weight stats.
Yeah.
So there are So if you're like playing as Toad in Knockout Tour, I feel like you're just constantly getting squished. You're getting crushed by the larger characters like Donkey Kong or Bowser.
But you're also going
a bit
faster.
slow. Yeah, you're going faster as Toad.
Yeah.
So there's that trade-off. And then, you know, obviously the difference with the vehicles between 8 and World is that with World, you're just picking the vehicle itself, whereas in 8, you're picking the frame, you're picking the wheels, and then you pick the glider.
Which I didn't like that. I that's too much customization.
Yeah, it doesn't.
In a Mario Kart game. I just want to.
It doesn't really matter.
Pick my character, pick my cart, and just get out there.
Yeah,
because you're picking like the wheels, the glider. Like it was just a bit too much.
Mm-hmm. Which some people like. Like it gives a lot of customization, but
yeah,
is that really needed for a Mario Kart game? Does it really matter? Does it make that much of an impact? Like you could argue that it doesn't. Yeah. Mario Kart as a party game, you know, it's meant to have this kind of like chaotic,
it's unpredictable not meant to be like super serious. I mean, I know people do take it very seriously, but yeah, it's more of a party game in my eyes. Yeah. I wish they would have not had a separate character select for each character variant. I wish they would have just done like one like Super Smash Brothers style, and then you got to pick from there. That's a little bit. I know you can sort it by character, but I don't. Hopefully they change that. They probably won't, but like it's a little much.
They've had a problem with menus.
Yeah,
between this, Echoes of Wisdom, Tears of the Kingdom, like they just can't find a way to optimize their menu. Like they need some like really good UI devs to come in and really.
But everything else, like the online stuff, is I don't have any issues. But I mean, obviously, we ran into the issue of trying to party up and play some Knockout Tour and Grand Prix, and we got lucky with Grand Prix, but you just have to get lucky and join at the right time. There's already a system in the game to pair up with people if you want to do like 1v1 versus the computers. Why not take that a little bit further and allow you to go online and pair up in a lobby?
You're lobbying up in the open room area, open zone area, open world, whatever you call it.
But you're restricted to restricted to just playing with the computers. It's so frustrating, and Nintendo just. I made this comment when we were playing, but they're very much like FromSoft in that regard. Is like they have to make, and I think FromSoft does it more intentional because they want everything to be very convoluted. And at this point, we're in 2025. I want this shit to just be seamless. Like I don't want to have to go through extra steps. I don't want to ring a bell.
Don't have to stand the sign, drilling finger to go.
Like just let me fucking pair up with somebody I want to pair up with. And in Mario Kart of all things, like it should be so easy to do, and it's just a little annoying. And again, like we've gone through Splatoon 1, 2, and 3. You've gone through Mario Kart 8 for like 20 years. It's like why can't we figure this out at this point?
Yeah, and we couldn't play Knockout Tour together because whenever you joined a game, it filled up so quickly that I couldn't even join the match.
Yeah,
that you had started.
Do we not test this stuff with people like at all? Like I know they do, obviously, but
is everyone just saying, "Yeah, this is really great"? Like no one's gonna want to play together. That's
it's the shill.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it's very strange that they didn't think about it or just overlooked it. Hopefully, I mean that's something we're not developers, so we don't know the ins and outs of like the online infrastructure and how that works. But to me, it seems like it's probably a pretty easy patch that you can do. It's already the infrastructure is already there. You just got to allow people to take that and go online with other players.
Yeah.
Even if you limit it to 2 players at a time, you may not want 4 people in the same lobby because then you could potentially cheat. I guess
you could shake and bake a little bit.
Yeah, you could shake and bake, and maybe that's why they don't do it for this. But it's like again, it's Mario Kart, man. Like let's just let people have fun. Who cares?
Yeah, let people play together.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
Yeah.
While we're complaining, my only other gripe with the game, aside from the fact that it's $80, is the offline Grand Prix mode. I'm not loving the cadence of Grand Prix. You have 4 races. With the first race, you do 3 laps of that one course, and then once you start onto the next race, you're playing the in between part. So like you're driving to the next course, and that takes up 2/3 of like the course itself, and then the last bit is you actually going around the course one time.
Yeah,
I wish it was just like normal Grand Prix where you take 3 laps around the course, because by the end of the Grand Prix, I don't feel like I've learned anything about the course that I've played.
Yeah, I get that.
And I like for Knockout Tour, that makes sense because you're driving across the world. But with Grand Prix, I don't know why they chose to do it that way.
Yeah, I get it. It hasn't bothered me yet. Because
like online, it's fine.
It feels like super fresh every time, and it's not like repeating the same thing. But I definitely get what you're saying. Is like for people that want to, or just in general, like wanting to kind of get familiar with the tracks and actually get familiar with them in real time versus other players, so you can kind of see the shortcuts and stuff like that. So I get that. It hasn't bothered me, and I really haven't thought about it much. But you I think you've played a little bit more than I have. But yeah. Yeah, other than that, I just don't think it's an $80 game. I mean, flat out, it's just not.
The elephant in the room.
Yeah, it's definitely not. I definitely. I don't know if this was like intentional by Nintendo and saying, "Hey, we're going to charge $80 to get people to buy the bundle." It definitely feels that way, which kind of stinks. And maybe over time, they'll update Mario Kart free updates, and it'll get to that point where, hey, $80 I think is worth it. And look, video games are subjective, like some, value of the game versus one versus the other. It always depends on the person, of course. Someone spent $60 on Mario Kart back in 18 was that, or 2017 when that game came out? Was it 2017?
Deluxe? Yeah.
So someone paid $60 for that, and you've got 8 years worth of game, and that's probably gonna be the case with this game. So it'll pay for itself over the time, but
and the booster pack was $25 as well. Yeah. So when you add those together, that's 85
and some tax.
Yeah.
So yeah, just looking in as of right now, yeah, it doesn't feel like that premium game. I mean, it feels like a premium game, but it doesn't feel like an $80 like premium game.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't justify the price tag right now.
Right now, it doesn't. Maybe a year or two from now, it will.
Yeah,
but at this moment, it doesn't feel like an $80 game. I don't know. I really don't know why they decided on that. They could have just easily bumped it to 70 and still kept games like Donkey Kong Bonanza at 70 as well. Yeah. I feel like they made too much of a jump too quickly, and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, I would never I would never recommend if someone was like, "Hey, I want to get a Switch 2. Should I get Mario Kart?" And I would say get the bundle. If you can't, that's up to you if you want to spend $80 for a video game.
Subjective, yeah.
Yeah, very, very subjective. But
I mean, that being said, the game's great. I'm having a ton of fun with it.
The game is excellent. And again, I didn't play a ton of Mario Kart, so I wanna know if there's someone that played Mario Kart 8 to death and they picked up World, and I wonder, how much of a difference they're feeling. I'm sure the movement feels great versus 8. There's just a ton more variety, but I want to know that kind of that perspective, someone who kind of religiously played Mario Kart over the 8 years, if they're a little bit disappointed in the game.
Yeah, if anyone who's listening,
please let us know.
Played a ton. Yeah, reach out to us and let us know what your thoughts are. We would love to hear it.
Yeah. What else you want to talk about?
Did we talk about Welcome Tour?
Yeah. I mean, I've played. I haven't gotten off like the first platform, so I haven't.
Okay, so you're super.
I'm very, very, very early.
Well, I'm super deep into the game.
I'm super deep into the packing game.
It's a lot cooler than it seems.
Yeah,
it's got a lot of really cool information on the Switch 2 hardware and the software. There's a lot of really cool mini games that kind of show off the functionality of the Joy-Cons themselves, like the HG Rumble, that kind of stuff, like how it can actually create sound from the controller, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And then of course the mouse mode, like showing off functionality of the mouse mode, showing off 4K, like acting like they're the first ones to ever do it.
That's how
You know how
Nintendo is.
Nintendo is.
They're so up their ass about that stuff. It's like
Yeah.
whenever they finally get around to doing something that's been in the industry for 5 or 6 years now, it's
It's like,
like,
all
"Oh,
right, now
this
you
is
guys
our
can care about
forte.
it.
Now you can, yeah, now
It's
you
like
care."
it's kind of like Apple, kind of sniffing their own
Yeah.
farts a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit, for
Yeah.
sure.
This should have been a pack-in game.
For sure.
I mean, 100%. I
The
know
fact
it's
that
only
it's 10
$10, but
bucks, it's like, "Come on, like, really, Nintendo?"
yeah.
Like, you couldn't have just thrown give us a freaking bone. I know back in the day, like, that was kind of the big thing is, like, Reggie fought tooth and nail to
Mhm.
get Wii Sports packed in. Um,
I mean,
and
he
obviously that
physically
was a
fought
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot.
And that was obviously a tremendous success. I mean, our grandparents and we had a lot of older family members that specifically got a Wii
Only for Wii Sports.
only for Wii Sports, which is kind of wild now, like looking back at it, like whatever. But
I mean, honestly,
but it was
like,
cool.
he got a bowl.
It was a
He got
fun
a
Wii. I
bowl.
mean, yeah, bowling and golf, like yeah, man, it's just
Like, our
so
parents
much
were
fun.
playing, like,
Yeah, we were playing like nightly at that point. Like we
yeah,
got like hundreds of hours into Wii Sports. It
yeah.
was
It was
a ton
crazy.
of
It was
fun.
a crazy time.
With that being said, welcome to our shop. Absolutely be a pack-in as well.
Yeah. It's really cool that I'm, like,
Yeah.
7 areas into the game. So I'm at the Switch 2 camera. So
Okay.
I'm touring that.
That's cool.
I did see a post from IGN saying that you can't, and actually a lot of other news outlets picked this up, saying that you can't finish Welcome Tour without having like $100 worth of accessories.
I was gonna
That's
ask that.
It's just not true. I talked to, like, there's a bunch of little people around, and they all have something to say, and I was just randomly talking to one of them, and he was like, "Hey, like, if you don't have one of the accessories, you can just walk up to the clerk at the mini game or whatever it is, and you hold Y, and it'll complete it for you." So, like, you could 100% this game without having any Switch 2 accessories.
Well,
I think IGN got community noted on Twitter for it, so that's good. But
it's like earlier. I mean, they announced that the Zelda movie got delayed, and it's like I saw your poster like by a few weeks. It's like
yeah,
just put that in the damn tagline. Like you don't have like what are we doing, IGN? Like you are like the biggest news outlet out there for video
it's
games,
just a clickbait. Yeah,
and y'all are like the ultimate clickbaiters, master clickbaiters. It's ridiculous.
masturbators.
The masturbator. It's so frustrating because I didn't see that Welcome to Her thing, and it's like did y'all play the game at all? Like did you get through it? I mean, this is what you guys do for a living. This is your job to be like reporters.
Well, hold on. They also had SGF this weekend. Okay, so
Oh, that's what all these
they
people
had
were bitching about too.
they
It's like,
had a
oh,
lot going on.
we've got a lot going on. It's like, well, then maybe
Maybe
if
hire more
you haven't
people.
had any experience with the Switch 2, don't talk about it until you have. And you might be a week or so late behind the normal people that have been posting about
Yeah.
it, like us. But hey, it's all fair game, man.
I know, that's just the name of the game, bro. You gotta get in line.
Yeah. But yeah, that shit just pisses me. The whole I don't know, man. The whole Switch 2, ever since it got announced and officially announced, it's just been
It's been a lot
yeah.
of clickbait.
There's a lot of negativity with the pricing, and I totally get that. But there's also just the grifting and just the flat out like just bad communication or misinformation that was spread out there.
Like
It's
the
just
$90 games thing, like
like people would do like their basic Google search, and the fact that I'm like talking about like an IGN of the world that's supposed to be 100% professional journalism at its finest, and we get shit like this all the time, and I don't get why it's been so bad with Nintendo and the Switch 2, where it's never the case for anything else or any other company for the most part. Granted, there was that span where and I'm sorry for shit talking IGN, but there was that span where a bunch of games were getting announced for PlayStation or for just in general, and they would never put Xbox's logo in there, even though it's on the Xbox too.
Yeah. I don't know what their deal is, man.
Yeah. People were coming after like Destin before he left. They're like, they were getting on him. They're like, what are y'all doing? And I think he reached out and got it fixed. Yeah, that shit is just. I know it's dumb, in the grand scheme of things, but it's just a little shit like that adds up over time. where it's like, this is why I don't go to y'all's website anymore. And I haven't in a long time. Like I'll get your headlines off of Twitter when you post, and half the time it's ridiculous grifting shit. So
or just incorrect information, but
we're incorrect information. But anyways, back to Welcome Tour.
I mean, that's really all there is to say. The mini games are cool. The tech demos are interesting. You can like learn more about stuff and take quizzes. I haven't been doing the quizzes because I want to take a test.
Yeah,
but it's $10, but it still should have been should have been a packing game for sure. Whatever.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Well, tell me about Breath of the Wild and Tears. I haven't played these yet. The upgrades. Tell me how it runs.
They look amazing. They run freaking flawlessly on the Switch too. Both of them look incredible. I've gone to the Korok Forest. They both run immaculately. They're perfect. The games have never looked better. They look really great. It's hard to show how good they look via the Switch 2's capture system because one, it caps the frame rate at 30 frames per second, and two, also caps the quality at 1080p. So you can't record 4K.
For those who don't follow us on TikTok, I think you should, because Nick specifically has done an excellent job of like doing a bunch of comparison videos. But people were losing their minds about this. So many comments of like, this is worth $500, and just like it's just really, really dumb comments. That
before versus before, like
before versus before, yeah.
Is the difference here in the room with us?
Yep, stuff like that.
Well, the only difference I see is I'm down $500.
Yeah, which I mean, I saw a lot of that stuff with like God of War 2018, or not 2018.
Ragnarok
like that, and Spider-Man, and like The Last of Us Part 2. But I think that was more so as like, really, we're getting a fucking another remaster, and people were just shit talking. So we've seen it, but it's more about feel too, right? I would say is the biggest.
Definitely more
difference.
About feel with it doubling the frame rate. Yeah, it just feels really, really good. Ultra Hand, it always kind of lagged a little bit when you booted it up on Switch 1.
Yeah,
that is non-existent on the Switch 2. It's perfectly smooth. I want to go in and start a new file with Tears of the Kingdom, and at least play through a good portion of that again now that they allow for more save files. Yeah, and I also tried out the Zelda Notes app.
Okay.
And did the stupid GPS, and it took me to this location I had never discovered before, and it was pretty far away, so it took me like 10 minutes to get there. But it kept saying, "Continue straight, continue straight."
So weird.
Continue straight. You're approaching your destination.
That is very odd.
It's literally like a GPS. You theoretically you could use that to find every single Korok in the game. Like every single location Korok is on this like map.
That's
on
neat.
This app, so you can see everything if you're looking to complete the entire game.
Yeah,
and then you can use the GPS to get there. And there's a lot of cool stats. Like you can see all your playtime stats from like even when you played on the Switch 1. So it captures most everything.
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting. I'm not going to use it, but it's cool.
Yeah, I mean we've already beaten it and stuff.
I already played those games to death.
Playing it now, do you think that Tears of the Kingdom was supposed to be a launch game for the Switch 2?
And I think it should have been.
Yeah,
I honestly do. This launch would have been so much more impactful, and more hype, to be honest, if Tears of the Kingdom was a launch game. And looking back, I would have been willing to wait. Well, I say this in hindsight.
Of course, I would have
back then. I wouldn't have wanted to wait, but
yeah, and Tears of the Kingdom on Switch was great. It definitely had performance problems for sure, but I had a blast playing it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and we've talked about it before in the last few weeks or so. But yeah, it's still, even playing Mario Kart, and having being able to play Cyberpunk and Bravely Default and some other a bunch of other games, still missing that. Like I feel like Donkey Kong should have been a launch game, and I get why they spread it out to maybe give Mario Kart some time.
And give love to third parties as well.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it still feels like, I mean, like Metroid, man, like where's that game? Like that would have been perfect for the mouse control thing to show that
Yeah.
off. But and I don't think Metroid is that popular where I think it's gonna take away from other sales, from potential sales from other games, from other third parties. But yeah, I still feel that way. I felt that way over the weekend. I was like, man, like Mario Kart's a lot of fun, but missing that Zelda, missing that Mario, missing some major single player game.
Right.
But that being said, still fun.
Yeah, still very fun. I did boot up Mario Odyssey. Check that out. It looks noticeably better on handheld mode specifically. There's not like that what is it? A lack of anti-aliasing where you kind of like see like the flickering on objects that are far away, and you could see it in the video that I posted that people said that looked exactly the same, which is just like, man, like how do you not?
It almost looks like it I guess to describe like the visual, it's like it looks kind of like you can see like a grid coming off of like the edges, like almost. It's very it's very strange when you're looking at it, but
it's distracting
cool.
once you see it. Yeah,
that's cool. That's
no longer the case.
No longer the case. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I booted up Link's Awakening. That runs very smooth now. There's not any hitching in the overworld, which is great to see. Let's see, what else did I play?
Did you play any Echoes of Wisdom?
No, I haven't played Echoes of Wisdom yet, but I heard that runs really well.
Pokemon?
I bought Pokemon Scarlet last week and tried that out, and I mean it runs. Yeah. Performance-wise, it runs flawlessly. It still looks
like shit.
It looks like ass, but it runs great. So can't complain too much. And then I tried out Mario 3D World. I tried out the Bowser's Fury mode in handheld, and that runs at 60 frames now, which feels really good.
Okay.
So those are all the backwards compatible games I've played, and the last one is Fantasy Life I, which I actually finished.
Oh, nice.
Last night. I still have a ton more to play. I just finished the main story, and it's got like hundreds of hours of content, but that game runs freaking great on the Switch too. It runs at 60 frames per second, looks beautiful. It is a huge upgrade from the Switch 1 version. Not saying that
you played a significant amount of that game before the launch of Switch 2, so that's a very cool perspective you have. Most of these games we've beaten already, so like you go back, you're like, oh, that's cool, feels better. But you've had like hours and hours of playing on the Switch 1, and now you get to enjoy it on the Switch 2.
It's a significant improvement. I was so glad like I didn't rush through it and that I waited and was able to finish it on the Switch 2, because it really did impact the experience. And it was a great experience beforehand, but dude, this is a really, really great game. If you're looking for a single player game, this might be the one you're looking for, to be honest.
There you go. Yeah. Cool.
All right, what else have we played? I know you and I both picked up Bravely Default. I've played like 30 minutes of it so far. How far are you into it?
I'm like an hour and a half, maybe. Maybe 2 hours. Like I'm at the first like dungeon area.
Okay.
It's good. How do you like the art style?
I wish they would have done more with it. I wish they would have gone a little bit farther. It feels like it could have been a Switch 1 game.
For sure. Yeah, I wish I don't hate it. It's definitely got that chibi art style. Mm-hmm. They didn't have voice acting in the first one, did they?
I thought they did.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, maybe I'm misremembering that game. They may have. Yeah, I mean, it's not an ugly looking game per se, but yeah, I wish they would have done like the Octopath, like the HD 2D style. Like that kind of feels like a missed opportunity, and I'm not sure why because Bravely Default 2 is the HD 2D style, so it feels. Is it not?
No, it's not.
Oh, then never mind. Then maybe it's just
that one almost looks better than this one does. It's
okay.
I mean, because it's not running off of like a 3DS version.
Yeah,
but I wish they would have gone more in that direction rather
Yeah.
than basing it off of the original art style. But it's cool. I mean,
It definitely feels like an older game for sure. But and this was also in the was it a 3DS game?
Yeah.
Okay. Like the online stuff where you can like summon your friends in for like an attack. I think that stuff is super cool. Definitely very Street Pass oriented because I think that's where it was implemented when with Street Pass. So that stuff is pretty cool. So yeah, I mean it's the story wise, like it feels like a Final Fantasy, early Final Fantasy story
Gotta
kind of
find the crystal.
vibe. Gotta find the crystal. You got the wind sage or wind whatever priestess. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna play more of that game. I have enjoyed the combat. I like the fact that you can speed it up as fast as you want, pretty much when you're going through. You could. This was back in the original, but you could turn off like encounters if you're just wanting to get through a dungeon without having to fight anything, because it is all the monsters they're not on screen, they come up randomly like they did in older Final Fantasy games. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Nice.
And it's $40, so it's like it's not like it's
a budget friendly.
Yeah
I don't think they could have gone away with 60 considering it was 40 on the 3DS. I think it's pretty cheap.
Well, Luigi's Mansion 2 was 40 on the 3DS. So.
Oh god, you're right. But that's Nintendo versus Square Enix.
I did finally boot up Cyberpunk earlier, and I played like maybe 15 minutes. Just got through the intro, made the not even really got through the intro. Like I made a character, made me accepted like the first mission to steal the car, and then I left the bar, and that's when I stopped. It runs great.
Which route did you go with? Did you go Corpo?
I did. So I think in my original I wouldn't say playthrough. When I first started back on Xbox, I think I did. What's the outskirt one? Like can't remember. This one I did the street one.
Okay.
So I did something slightly different, but yeah, I mean, just game looks fantastic. You just all the details in the environment. There's nothing feels like it's washed out. Nothing feels. Granted, I haven't seen like the kind of the overworld yet, but everything looks great. Like it feels like Cyberpunk. How it should look.
Hell yeah.
So no stuttering, no anything like that. Just pretty smooth gameplay. Granted, I haven't shot anything yet. Yeah, handheld.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
So
I picked up Fast Fusion for $15 in the eShop. A ton of fun. I still need to play more of it. Yeah, I probably put like an hour and a half or 2 hours into it so far. It's very, very fast, and I've only unlocked like the slowest option to play at,
like the 50 cc
equivalent. Yeah. But it's really cool. Like you can
pause for a second. I'm also kind of irritated that 200cc is not available at launch for Mario Kart World. That feels bad.
Should be an unlock. Should be.
I know we didn't talk about that, and I know a lot of people are probably gonna, like, why didn't you talk about that? So,
yeah, 200cc. I'm glad mirror mode is in it, although I have not unlocked that yet.
How do you unlock that? I did get Rainbow Road. I did get that track.
You have to play through all the offline knockout tours.
Okay.
And then I think you have to find 10 Peach medallions in the free roam mode.
Oh, okay.
And then you have to play Rainbow Road again, or you have to play that cup again.
Okay.
And then you unlock it. It's very convoluted.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, Fast Fusion.
Yeah, Fast Fusion is really, really cool. It runs at 4K 60, which is extremely impressive. It looks great, runs great. I think they're adding in like a 120 mode later on. It's not here at launch, but there's three different performance modes at launch.
Okay.
But yeah, you can like buy vehicles and fuse them together. I'm not super deep into it, but I feel like it's like a F-Zero equivalent if you're looking for something a bit faster than Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I know it's two racers, but like if you want another racer that's faster, then Fast Fusion is a good way to go.
Yeah. Sweet. I did boot up the GameCube app. It played a little bit of Soul Calibur 2. Played as Link. Played through like 6 or 7 rounds of like the arcade. That didn't have a huge affinity for Soul Calibur back in the day. It was obviously fun to play as Link in a fighting game, and it's something outside of a traditional Zelda game. So I'll probably boot that up at some point and play with like maybe like a local game or something.
Yeah.
And then I booted up Wind Waker for just a little bit.
Same
Man,
here.
I know it's up-res to 4K and all that stuff, or 1080p on the screen, or whatever it is. That game still looks good, man. I know it's just the GameCube version, but that game just
kind of a timeless looking game.
Timeless game, yeah, timeless looking game. It's incredible.
Yeah. Still thoroughly impressed with Wind Waker.
Yeah,
I do wish we got a Wind Waker port. But that being said, I've played it on the Wii U, so it's fine.
Yep. We both played through Hogwarts Legacy. The Switch 2. So the Switch 1 version is the Switch 1 version. Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch 2 is a completely different version. So it's not an upgrade per se. It's just a completely different version of that game. More in line with obviously Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. The game's really cool, man. The opening is awesome. The story is very intriguing. I mean, I'm not a diehard Harry Potter person, but I've seen all the movies, I've read all the books. I do enjoy that universe. So very, very intrigued by this. I think we both ended at the same part where you get through the sorting, getting your house sorted out, and then you kind of gain control of the character again. And that's where I stopped playing. But yeah, it was fun, man. The combat's interesting.
It's got parries.
That's definitely gonna play that more for sure.
Yeah, I was using the mouse mode when I was playing it too.
I haven't experienced anything mouse yet, other than
you gotta go for the mouse, man.
Yeah, I need to play Cyberpunk with the mouse.
Yeah, you got to play Cyberpunk. I tried out the Fortnite mouse mode. That was really cool too. That one works pretty well. I don't know if it's better than motion controls. I'll have to play more with it.
Yeah.
But it's cool having all those options, I will say. So, Hogwarts is really cool. I'm excited to play more of that.
Yeah. I think that's everything I've played.
Yeah, I think that's everything I've played too. It's a lot.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Like, even if there wasn't like that single player game that we keep talking about, there was a lot to experience and a lot to kind of go through, and we've been uploading TikTok videos and YouTube videos all week too, so it's just fun, man. It's been fun.
It's been a good time.
It's a new system, right? And then I guess lastly I want to talk about is the Switch 2 launch lineup in general, and the negativity that I've seen with that. And I don't know if people forgot the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series launch, or they just are choosing not to remember because they have a bias against Nintendo. But I want to talk about it because a lot of people on that TikTok of where you were comparing Zelda, they're like, oh, like that's not even an upgrade, and oh, I'm not paying $500 just to play upgraded games. PlayStation 5 launch. Here we go. So we had Astro's Playroom, the pack-in game. Demon's Souls was a remaster, a very good remaster of Demon's Souls. Marvel's Spider-Man remaster, so another remaster. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, that was a new game, but it also came out on PS4. And then Sackboy: A Big Adventure. I don't know if that was a pack-in game. I'm not sure what that game was.
That was not a pack-in game, but
okay.
I think that was exclusive.
A lot of remasters, and you had a game that wasn't Switch 2, or not Switch 2, but PlayStation 5 exclusive. And then there a ton of other, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla came out at the time, and there was a free upgrade for that. So a lot of games were coming out on the PS4, Xbox One, and then having those free upgrades. So very reminiscent with the Switch 2 launch. Xbox Series X, even worse, had no first party games at launch. They did have the Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5, Gears Tactics, Grounded. They all had their Xbox Series X upgrades, which was cool. Where the Will o' the Wisp was one of those. Sea of Thieves, Tetris Connected, a lot of stuff. Nothing new. It was just all games that were already there. just got upgrades, which is cool because Xbox, all their upgrades have been free for everything. With their smart delivery thing they had or still do have really. So that was really cool. But yeah, Xbox Series launch was terrible. Let's go even further. Let's go to PlayStation 4 launch games real quick. So let's just go through. Call of Duty Ghosts came out that year. Killzone Shadowfall was a first party game that came out. Playroom, so it wasn't even Astro's Playroom, it was just called Playroom back then. Resogun was out there from Housemarque, but they weren't owned by PlayStation at the time. That was it. There wasn't a lot. Infamous Second Son, I believe, was that. Yeah, Infamous Second Son was also available at launch. So again, like one or two first party games, you know,
but
and a bunch of remasters, a bunch of free upgrades. So just, it's I don't think it's necessarily fair for people to call out the launch game. Again, I know we just talked about how we were missing that one single player game, but as far as like the upgrade stuff and having like paid upgrades, everybody else did it. And I don't remember people bitching about it back then. I'm sure there was, or sure there were,
but definitely not to the extent.
But not to the extent that the Switch 2 is getting hate for when they're just kind of doing the same thing everyone else already did.
Yeah, so. I mean, it's just easy to be negative, and it's easy to hate on something, and I feel like a lot of people are. it's a lot of people who are not content with their output on their preferred console, so they're choosing to hate on something to make their decision, make them feel better about their decision. But it is what it is. Negativity still, like, people negatively commenting on our videos are still driving views on our videos. So
yeah,
it's all the same to
exactly. Me. Yeah, exactly. And then also looking like the Switch 1 launch, they had 1-2 Switch. Breath of the Wild, obviously, that was like the killer app to be had. I mean, there was that report that there was more Breath of the Wild copies out there, Switch version, I think, than the actual console itself, which is insane. And then Shovel Knight launched as well. So,
and Snipper Clips.
And so, and Snipper. I thought I said Snipper Clips. But yeah, Snipper Clips as well. So, yeah, I just feel like they're all kind of very, very similar and different in some aspects. But yeah, to just say that Switch 2 is just nothing but a remaster system right now, I think it's just kind of a little bit unfair.
Yeah,
versus what everybody else did.
A little bit unfair.
And I also think it's okay for people to be early adopters of things. Like, yeah, obviously, if you were to buy a Switch 2 4 years, from now, there's going to be so many incredible games to play. Same thing with like PlayStation. Like, they don't have the greatest stuff at launch, but the PlayStation 4. I mean, not so much the PS5, but the PlayStation 4. By the end of that thing, man, the games were incredible.
Yeah, whole catalog of games to play.
So I think that's just also a thing that people don't think about. It's like, it's okay to be an early adopter, and it's also okay to wait. There's nothing that appeals to you. If you're not a Mario Kart fan, then yeah, maybe don't pick up a Switch 2 right now. Pick it up when something else that you enjoy comes out. I think that's also okay as well.
But don't try to make people feel bad about their decision.
Yeah,
it's that simple. But everyone has to voice their opinion and impose their views on everyone else. So yeah, that's what we see constantly.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing. We have we have our own podcast, so we're doing the same thing.
But we're not telling people, hey, you should buy.
No, we're not going on people's and telling people not to buy one and being assholes about it. And when the PlayStation exclusive game comes out, or the Pro, like, we were both like, yeah, $700 is kind of unreasonable, but we weren't going on people's videos that were excited and saying, hey, yeah, this is
you shouldn't be excited about this. You're stupid. Yeah.
Ridiculous. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up the Switch 2 talk, unless there's anything else that you can think of. I know that was a long conversation, but it's been a fun week, man.
It's been a fun week. I mean, what is next for the Switch 2? We have Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yep.
Coming July 17th. I'm excited to pick up.
Coming out.
Yeah, ZA is coming out.
Zelda Age of Imprisonment, is it Age of Imprisonment?
Age of Imprisonment, yeah.
Yep.
Kirby.
Kirby. I'm excited for Kirby for that upgrade.
Kirby's. Oh yeah, that would end
man.
Kirby Star Riders or Kirby
Yep.
Air Riders. Sorry,
Air Riders. Yep.
Um,
Which I need to see more of that game before
yeah,
I get
see
excited
some
for that one.
gameplay.
Yeah.
I think we'll see a direct this month just to kind of clear up the rest of the year, kind of put some dates on things.
Yeah, typically in June they usually have them towards like the second half. I think the
Right.
earliest one I was looked was like maybe the 11th. So I mean, we could get one this week.
We could. I'm sure they've.
I don't think we will. I think it'll be next week at the earliest. They want to give a little bit of time
launch, yeah,
for the Switch to get out. The Switch 2 will have its launch before they drop a direct. But
give it at least a week on the market before you get back out there with more content.
But this is the time to do it. Like people are excited. People love the Switch. I haven't really seen any complaints, outside of like the minor stuff that we have with Mario Kart and, but yeah, I'm excited for the Switch future, man. There's so many good games to play. Still got I still want to play some more Elden Ring, but I don't know if I'm ever get back to that in a minute.
Yeah,
I got so much to play on the Switch too. So much stuff I want to try out that I haven't yet. So it's exciting, man.
It's just crazy that we're here and we've been talking about this for so long.
Yeah.
And now it's in our hands. Oh, yeah. Feels great. I'm excited to play Elden Ring on this thing.
Ooh, yes.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, very excited for that.
Yeah, excited to see all the ports, excited to see like Metaphor come over, Clair Obscur, that's going to be a big moment. And then of course all the new stuff too. Hopefully we start to see Resident Evil 9's coming to Switch 2, the newer games, Monster Hunter Worlds or Monster Hunter Wilds coming to Switch 2. That kind of stuff's gonna be fun to see.
Yeah.
I'm wondering all the impossible ports.
Yeah. Well, let's just drop. We're not gonna sit here and talk about the SGF too much, because at this point, I mean, you've watched it and you've seen all the games that have come out. You didn't watch the Summer Games Fest show, or you watched maybe?
I watched the first half of it. Yeah.
Okay. This was probably one of the weakest ones I've seen in a while. Summer Games Fest, I'm never
expecting.
I don't really get hyped up for Jeff stuff much anymore. Anyways, I feel like a lot of times it's maybe overhyped a little bit compared to what we actually get, and that's okay. It's okay to be excited. Just it does leave room for more disappointment. But so yeah, never get too hyped for Summer Games Fest stuff. That being said, the show was very, very, very mediocre in my opinion.
Yeah.
Obviously it ended with Resident Evil 9, so it kind of made up for it. You didn't watch the entire show. I don't know if you ever saw. So they had the voice actress of Lady Dimitrescu come out there, and she did, and it was like a commercial for being Capcom stuff being on sale. And then she came out again and sung Happy Birthday for the series, and then that was it. And the director of Resident Evil came out and said, yeah, you have to wait a little bit longer. So they were edging us the entire show. And then they actually gave it to us at the end, which I'm not mad about it, but it's you didn't
that's so weird.
Yeah, it was very strange. But that trailer was incredible. I love these types of trailers where you just don't know exactly what it's going to be. It could be anything. And then
you're going back to Raccoon City, but in what form? With whom?
Because there was really no that I could tell up until the point where they were okay, there's been some murders, and I'm like,
okay, you don't know what game it is, yeah.
You don't know what game it is, and you're like, oh, there's been some murders, and you're like, okay, are we a detective or something? Or we work for the FBI? This is very intriguing, and then it cuts to the old or the destroyed Raccoon City, the police department building, and then it starts showing, and you're like, oh my god, this is fucking hype, and then it shows the big explosion, the crater that the nuke that they dropped on there, and it's yeah. First of all, it's y'all nuked the city and it didn't do anything. There's still monsters to be found here.
It's more more crazy now.
Yeah, exactly. With the radiation. We got to look at the. I guess we don't know if it's the player. I think her name was Gracie something. I can't remember her name exactly. No shots of Leon or anything that I remember from the trailer.
Yeah.
So obviously, and it comes out like in February, which is
February 2026, which is
like I love Resident Evil releases
soon.
and like release dates because they announce the game and then it's out within like 6 months, which is
yeah.
well 8
Yeah,
months.
that's right around the corner. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty soon. So
Yeah, so very
I'm
very excited. We don't know if it's going to third person again or if it's going to be first person. I think you had said you think it's going to go back to third person.
I think so.
I'm very excited. Resident Evil obviously is one of our favorite franchises, and Capcom has just been cooking for years and years and years. So everything they put out is pretty high quality. So I'm extremely excited to see what they do with this.
Yeah, I cannot wait. I hope we're playing as Leon, third person back in Raccoon City. That's gonna be really cool. Or maybe it's like a dual protagonist thing. Maybe one of them is in first person and one's in third. That would be kind of crazy. I don't know how that would work, but
they definitely said that the game still has a lot of action in it. So maybe like some of the more detective elements are going to be the first person stuff that we're used to with 7 and 8, and then like it'll kick to Leon and we're doing fucking flips and karate chopping zombies.
Some Resident Evil 6 stuff.
Yeah. Either way, whatever they do with it, I trust them completely at this point with what they're gonna do. Everything else in that showcase, I really can't even remember. Like there was a one game that they announced called Ill, which is like there was a lot of horror stuff in this showcase. Which I do enjoy horror games, but this one felt like one of those games where the graphics were so good that you're like, is this real? Is this gameplay? Is it
felt like a
CGI
on the PS5?
Exactly. Did you see this trailer for Ill?
Yeah, I think I remember it.
It looks very weird. Like it's very grotesque and like this like disturbing looking. Kind of reminds me of
Scorn.
Scorn. I enjoyed that game, but it was definitely it was an interesting game. But definitely reminds me of Scorn for sure. And just how weird it looks with its creatures. But yeah, everything else I can't really remember.
And Neo 3? Neo 3?
I think that was in the PlayStation showcase, right?
Well.
Which that also happened, which I didn't even watch that. Like I think PlayStation showcases have been so bad like the last 4 or 5 years that I just don't even bother watching them.
I think this one was better. I still can't remember what was announced.
They announced Neo 3. They announced more more
Astrobot.
More Astrobot levels, which is awesome. I'm definitely going back to that. You've got a ton to play, by the way.
I know.
You have so much
stacking it up.
Yeah. I'm a little jealous, but yeah, I'll definitely be going back to that when they release those.
Got another Ghost of Yotai trailer.
Oh, they showed. I didn't even know they showed a trailer.
It was a really small trailer, like really short. Okay. Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, Curtis? We are doing good.
Doing good.
Just got done talking about the Switch 2, everything.
Everything about it.
But yeah, I thought it was pretty. I mean, it was 2 hours, so it wasn't like overbearingly long, but just it was to me. It was a little bit one of the weaker ones in a long time, and they've. I don't think it was as bad as like The Last of Us Part 2, showcase one that they had where it ended with that. That was pretty
exceptionally bad.
Yeah,
and especially since it got leaked before.
Yeah, I felt pretty offended by that one. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, and then we streamed the Xbox showcase, and
that one was great.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I went back and I watched the Kind of Funny reaction to it, like their review, like in review that they do. Snowbike Mike was pretty harsh on it. I don't know if I completely agree with his points, but I will say for the diehard Xbox fans, like if you're looking for like the Gears, Halo, stuff like that, Fable, like none of that was there. We got a trailer for Reloaded, but that was already announced, so it wasn't like a big deal. I would have liked to see, Gears E-Day get some sort of trailer for that. That's coming next year. Phil did come on and announce and tease the the Halo remaster. Like where was like that couldn't have been shown off. Like, yeah. So, but other than that, like everything else, I thought was. I didn't love that it ended on Call of Duty either. That was
that felt like
it should have been Halo, but it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was a really weird moment because it was a cool trailer, and then it ends, and you're like, oh man, it's Call of Duty.
And that's coming out this year, right? Or is it next year? Did that
I
the
think it's
messaging was
next year.
confusing with every time like Phil. Yeah, anytime Phil, Matt Booty, or Sarah got on stage, like the messaging was just a little bit confusing with what they were talking about.
Yeah. I hate when they make these like sweeping declarations, like every game you see here today is going to come out within the next 12 months, or it's Xbox Play Anywhere.
Yeah,
It's like,
there have we gotten to the point where the Xbox marketing is a little bit confusing? Are we there yet? Because you have like Game Pass, then you have Play Anywhere, and then everything's on Xbox, but not everything can be played natively. I don't know.
I don't even know what the Play Anywhere means outside of if I have Game Pass, I can play a game on my phone.
Yeah.
And maybe I can play a game on my phone if I don't have Game Pass. Maybe that's what it means. I don't know. And you're right. It is a little confusing. And it's going to get more confusing when they have their handheld come out. The ROG Ally
ROG. Yeah,
X.
which they I think they had said that they had put their dedicated handheld on pause while they worked everything else out with other developers. So Curtis, yeah, we talked about the Switch 2 for about an hour. Really enjoying it, and yeah, we that was kind of our biggest gripe maybe with the launch games is there wasn't that big single player game. So we definitely feel you on that. And yeah, Xbox usually has the best showcase out of everybody.
At least in the
They
past few years.
yeah, they usually bring it. But they didn't have any games for like 6, so they've got to bring that up eventually.
Right. And on their handheld, I guess I'm still not going to get it.
No,
but it is
going
to
be like a $700, $800 piece of tech.
Yeah. But
I'm good.
It is going to be the only place that you can play Xbox games, Steam games, which means you can play Sony games as well. You can play PlayStation games, so you can play the God of Wars and the Spider-Mans. And I guess you can do that on the PlayStation now that Xbox is porting over all of their games to PlayStation. Yeah. But it's going to be a cool a cool handheld where you can play PlayStation and Xbox games, which is I mean that's an exciting concept. I don't know if PlayStation will play ball. Like I don't know how they would even stop that from happening, or if they would try to. If they would try to stop
at this point, it's like why? Because then if they try to come after Xbox or what, I don't even know where that lawsuit would even, how that they could even create something. But then they just look like the bad guy. They're like, oh, But then also like here's this ROG Ally thing, which is really like interesting and cool. And it's like, okay, are people going to be excited about an Xbox dedicated handheld anymore? Their version of it. And if Xbox is going in this direction of where they want their games everywhere, are they then going to have their Xbox dedicated handheld only be able to play Xbox games and PC Game Pass and whatever the case is? Or are they going to make it an open concept where you can pull in Steam, pull in Epic? Are they going to allow that? Or are they going to like kind of gatekeep that to just, they're in a very interesting time where they could go both directions. And I feel like they're going in this open direction, but I could barely, so they came out with that. I just don't think it would make sense on the direction that they're going is what I'm
Yeah. Why would you need a dedicated Xbox handheld if you have this ROG Ally partnership where you can play Xbox games natively and also download games from Steam and Epic Game Store? Like, I don't see why they would also develop their own handheld.
Yeah, it's weird. It's interesting. Their future is very, and like I said, like right now, they could announce the next Xbox, and I just don't think I would not get that at launch.
No. After the Series X, like now it has really great games, and if someone were to pick it up now, they'd have a great catalog of games to play.
Yeah.
But for the first 3 years,
It was just like the
there wasn't
third. Like, it
shit.
was. Yeah, I mean, it was our third party machine. I mean, we obviously split the games on game sharing or whatever, and that was great. And I enjoy. I don't regret getting my Xbox, but yeah, like I said, and PlayStation as well. Like even PlayStation, I think even more so, is just because they haven't had any games at all.
Well, I think they were better at the beginning than they have been in the past 2 years.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean they had
They had like
they had
Ratchet
some
and
good stuff.
Clank, they had Returnal.
God of War, Spider-Man 2. It's just been a very odd generation for both those companies.
Mm.
Definitely feels like a stopgap in a way that like not as bad as like the Wii U was for Nintendo, but I don't know, just it's been strange.
Yeah, it's been them figuring out how best to develop games, how much time should they be spending on these big AAA games. Like Sony is trying and failing at this multiplayer concept. That's not really working out for them, but
Yeah,
I think they'll figure it out in the next generation.
yeah, Curtis, I would agree with you absolutely, but the Xbox just wasn't selling at all. Even when they had like Halo and Forza, Xboxes just were not selling. So I think once they realized that they were so far behind in like the quote unquote console race, that I just think they made that switch pretty quickly. I mean, I know it like what in 2020, early 2024, it started out with the 4 games, and then obviously I think once they realized that like, hey, all 4 of these games are in the top selling, categories on everything but Xbox, I think that's when they were like, okay, that is our direction going forward, and that's where they've been sticking ever since. And there was a lot of to quote OJ, there's a lot of flip flopping back and forth between what their direction was, but it feels like they're finally in a place where they know what they want to be. Whether, and I know they still say they want to be in the console market, whatever that looks like in the next few years, who's to say where they get that. But as of right now, like their cadence of games are great. They've got a ton of studios with a lot of talent.
Mm-hmm.
PS5, I've enjoyed it, and I got it just last year, so I had a ton of games to play. But first party wise, yeah, just not
too
great.
much.
And PlayStation, that 12 live service games that huge initiative that probably at this point cost them upwards of $1 billion at least, especially them acquiring Bungie,
studios,
which was not, I don't think was a good acquisition. Maybe initially when it happened, you're like, okay, yeah, Bungie, Destiny's doing great, or at least one of the premier live service games, and it's like, man, they're stealing a lot of content from other people, stealing assets. PlayStation, I think are in a rough spot right now for sure.
Yeah, I mean they have Marathon that's supposedly coming later this year. I think that game doesn't look great, or can't. I don't know if it'll get canceled, but I think it'll get delayed, go free to play.
I will be shocked if that game doesn't come out and it's not free to play at this point. I will be genuinely shocked. I don't think they just if they release it at $40 or whatever they're going to release it at, I don't think they learned a thing.
Yeah, they just got so lucky with Helldivers 2. That being one of their first live service games that they released as a part of this initiative.
Was Helldivers even a part of the initiative?
I thought it was, but
maybe it was. I don't think it
actually no, because that one wasn't internally developed, was it?
No, because they're not a first party studio.
Yeah, they're not. But maybe they saw that at that price point at $40.
Yeah,
they're like, okay, we have a great game with Concord. Let's price that at $40.
Wasn't bad.
And we'll get the same level of success when they were just completely different games. One had, a certain viral marketing to it.
Yeah.
Word of mouth marketing. Yeah. It's tough. I mean, I feel like they're not in a good spot right now.
Yeah, and I forgot about Arc Raiders. Like that kind of came out of seemingly nowhere. I mean, I know it's been in development for a while,
And that kind of blew
That
the
that
lid
kind
off
of
of.
yeah, that kind of like stole the thunder for Marathon. Yeah, I agree, man. I hate I don't hate live service games, but when it comes to like if I want PlayStation to spend money on like their what they're known for in the PS4 generation, like the premier for like first party single player third person action, their
Sad Dad,
sad
Dad
dad
Simulator.
game. But I love that stuff, man. It's so
It's
good.
good. Yeah.
And I felt like at some point they lost the script. They forgot who they were or are, and they tried to do this live service thing, and it's obviously failed horrendously. And
It's all because of Jim Ryan.
yeah, geez, man.
Jim Ryan.
And like Concord, like, obviously, like, I don't know if it took necessarily 8 years, but it was kind of in development for 8 years. And I just don't know of any person that saw that game and was like, yes, we got to buy the studio and we've got to invest hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars into this game.
Like, this is the next Overwatch.
Yeah, back
Meanwhile,
when
people
like
were tired of
Overwatch, yeah, it's like what I don't know. Some people don't have it, aren't cut to be like a game centric CEO. Like you may thrive in like another kind of business related role,
Right.
but as head of like I don't know. Anyways, yeah, it's been a frustrating generation for sure.
Yeah, and hopefully Nintendo can carry it. Like, hopefully they can improve this generation with the Switch too.
Yeah, hopefully
spark some creativity.
So yeah, Xbox's stuff was a lot of fun. They had a lot of great games showed off. What were some of the? I can't remember. I'm having a hard time. I'm so Switch oriented right now.
High on Life 2. That
looks
really
great.
Cool. It looks like a fun game. Outer
one of those trailers where it's clearly CGI and not actually gameplay, but still looks really, really cool. And like the whole skateboarding really stuff, like it looks very like Jet Set Radio or something like that. It looks cool. Yeah.
Outer Worlds 2 had its whole presentation. That game looks really, really fun.
Yeah.
All the flaw mechanic, you and I were cracking up. Listening to
that was great.
That. Like the bad knees where you can the flaw where if you're crouching and you stand up, your knees will pop and it'll create a large sound. Yeah, create a sound that
and that's why I've loved these directs, because like Call of Duty, I really could have cared less before that direct last year. And Outer Worlds 2, you and I both got to the same point in Outer Worlds 1 and just kind of dropped it. And I don't think either one of us were like super pumped for this one. But now seeing this, I'm like, yeah, this looks like a lot of fun. Like it's a lot of like a lot of creative stuff going into this game. I really dig it.
Yeah, Outer Worlds looks great. Grounded 2 got announced.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be. I don't know if I'm going to play that one. I didn't love Grounded 1. I'm just not a big like survival tree cutter down game. Not never was into Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously get the appeal, and this one does look pretty cool. I may try it out. I don't know.
I might try it. Yeah. Trying to think of what else. Ninja Gaiden 4 got shown off again.
Yep. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 got showed off.
Yeah, Bam Margera.
Bam's back, baby. Yeah, that game's gonna be awesome. Can't wait for that. And there's other stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure. I know there was other stuff.
I mean, again, it wasn't an amazing showcase. It was great.
Yeah,
it had a lot of good announcements, but yeah, it didn't have the Halo.
Nothing blew me away per se.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't, completely blown away. Where I kind of expected it to be, because that's just kind of what we've been, kind of what we gotten from the last couple of showcases from Xbox. But yeah, nothing. Crazy.
3D.
Super Meat Boy was awesome.
Really good.
You're right. Yeah, that one, and I love like the homage to Mario, him coming out the what is it, the plumber
pipe?
The pipe. Yeah, geez, Christ. Yeah, the pipe. That was awesome. And then seeing it jump into 3D, it was very reminiscent of those types of games. So that game looks fun, and I'm afraid to play that game because
dreading
I
playing that
know
game.
it's going to be so fucking frustrating.
I liked the 2 seconds we saw of Silksong, and
that's where I was talking about with the confusion with Sarah Bond coming on there, and she's like, Hollow Knight will be available day one on the Raw, and it's like, is it
launching with the
is it
system?
launching with or is it going to be come out before, and then it's just going to be ready available one for.
Like,
I know you had said some stuff on Twitter earlier, or X, God, whatever. Are you done with Hollow Knight Silksong, Nick? Are you tired of being edged for 5 years straight?
I'm tired of being edged, man. I just want to.
Is the edging streak over?
I think they hitched their marketing horse to Xbox for some reason, even though they started on Nintendo.
Yeah,
and they got caught up in all these sweeping declarations of, oh, every game you see here is going to come out within a year. It's like, oh, does that mean Silksong? Yes, that means Silksong. That was in 2022.
That's insane, dude.
Like, that's some bullshit. And then
that's insane.
And then, like, all this stuff now they're hitched to the handheld, and everyone's wondering, oh, well, once we get the handheld release date, that's when Silksong is going to come out. And then I guess the marketing director over at Team Cherry had to come out and say, hey, we are releasing before the holiday season, and we are not launch aligned with the Xbox handheld.
So confusing.
And it's like, dude, you can make everyone's life easier if you just gave a release date and stopped like trying to align your marketing with Xbox, who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah,
like they're not aligned on anything on their side. So why would you try to be a part of that?
Yeah,
when people are already like crashing out over seeing new Silksong footage or getting a release date or getting a shadow drop. Like, everyone expects a shadow drop at every single event now.
Yeah, it's bad. It's like
man,
that was probably good 3 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
Where we were seeing it and we were like, oh man, Silksong, here we come. But now it's like, dude, like people are, I know, like when it drops, we're gonna drop everything we're doing to fucking play this game, because I know we're talking shit about it right now, but obviously we're pretty excited for it. But it's just annoying. Like it genuinely is annoying. Just seeing all the talk around it. It's like,
and the joke at SGF from Deadpool, it's like, oh, cut out the Silksong trailer. Let's play mine.
Yeah,
dude. Now you're just being mean.
And it's like, it's not. I mean, it's not Team Cherry's fault necessarily, but it's like also they've been radio fucking silent for like 6 years,
which is not a good sign.
And it's like, man, but also, and I wonder again with, because this game was going to be developed or supposed to be developed with Unity, and Unity had that big kerfuffle a couple years ago where they were changing the way they do downloads. Where
charge per download.
Well, it was like they were going to
royalties.
Yeah, they were getting a cut like on downloads. They were getting cut on like re-downloads. Like, so if someone deleted it from their system, they would get another cut from that. So they were just getting an insane amount of cuts from more so than ever. So maybe internally they switched to like Unreal Engine 5 or something. That's my theory on why this game has taken so fucking long.
And it's only a few people working on it, but
yeah, and it's not a huge team. That is true.
You think of something like Stardew Valley, which has one person working on it, and that person is working on, I can't remember his name. He's working on another game.
Yeah,
called like the Haunted Chocolatier or something like that. But he's very forthcoming with his updates, and he like lays out roadmaps for Stardew Valley. He has these huge updates for Stardew. He gives updates on his other game that he's working on, and yes, it's gonna take forever for that game to come out, but he's active in the community and he's talking to people and he's giving information. Team Cherry, nothing, absolutely nothing, except the occasional pop-up, a jump scare in an Xbox showcase.
Like, I'm gonna go to their
when was their last
X page real quick?
When was their last
tweet? the last time that they even reposted this is not even an original tweet. This is something they reposted when the Nindoroid Hornet got announced. This was June 28th, so almost 2 years ago. June 28th, 2023 is they did a repost of a pre-order link for the Hornet Nindoroid action figure.
See,
that's fucking insane.
And I was surprised to learn they had a marketing director, because what are they marketing? What are they doing?
That's not his only job.
Are they talking to Xbox all day? Come on.
And before that was February. They reposted Hollow Knight resin statues of the Knight and Hornet, and then before that was September 16th, 2022, and they said, and they reposted what PlayStation posted, confirming Hollow Knight Silksong is coming to PS5 and PS4.
Oh, great!
It's fucking nutty.
You know what they should have done? They should have released on one console first, and then maybe picked up contractors or resources elsewhere to help port the game over, because now they're just biting off more they can chew.
Yeah, this game is, if it's not like perfect, if there's any issues, it's gonna get just destroyed. Like review bomb, I don't know, man. I don't want that to happen. By the way, I'm not telling people to do that when it comes out. If it's messed up, because if a game's messed up, it is what it is. But like they've kind of put it, they've created this
a really bad way.
Yeah, insane. Like June 12th, 2022, they reposted PC Game Pass. Hollow Knight Silksong is launching day one with Xbox Game Pass.
Almost 3 years ago to the date.
Xbox almost shut down. I mean, not really, but like that was the big narrative. They're selling off Microsoft is selling off Xbox, and so we've been through quite the ordeal with Xbox since Hollow Knight got announced. Oh my god,
we've had 2 different presidents since.
We're gonna get GTA 6 before we get Hollow Knight Silksong.
They said
at this rate, I don't believe
said it was coming before the end of the year.
I don't believe them, but I'll see when I'll see it. I'll believe it when I see it.
I'll believe it when I'm playing
I believe it when I'm playing it and I'm a few hours in. Is this real?
Even then, I'm gonna be worried that it's a glorified demo.
Yeah,
3-hour demo.
God. That being said, I'm still very excited for Hollow Knight Silksong. I can't wait to play it on my Switch too.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What a nightmare.
Yep.
Nick, any final thoughts? Xbox Showcase, Switch 2, SGF.
No, I mean, it was, regardless of how we feel about the showcases themselves and how we feel about Hollow Knight, it was a fun week between all of the showcases and the Switch 2 launch. I think it was just a really fun time.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got a lot more game to do. So
that's right.
Very excited. Did you ever play? Did you download the demo for Tony Hawk?
No, I think you have.
There wasn't one on Switch, right? Oh, you have to pre-order it.
I don't know if you have to pre-order it on Xbox, but at least on PlayStation, you have to pre-order to play.
That sucks.
Yeah,
isn't the point of a demo
to sell people on a game?
The game?
Did you guys forget what demo is short for?
Yeah, that is annoying. Demonstrate. That's super annoying.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, and I guess the other news that we haven't talked about, Liza P.
Oh yeah, the Overture.
Overture has released its shadow dropped.
Yeah.
As a part of SGF. Right?
Yeah. No, it was Xbox, right? No, it was SGF. It was SGF.
SGF.
Yeah.
I have not played that yet, but
no, I haven't.
I want to dive in at some point.
I'll probably hold off for a little bit.
Yeah.
There's just too much stuff I got to
Too much to play.
Too much to play. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this extra special breakdown of our Switch 2 launch weekend experience. It's been, like I said, it's been a hell of a time. Very, very excited. if you can review us on your favorite podcasting platform of choice, that would be greatly appreciated. Check out our Gaming with the Broscast YouTube channel. I do have that linked below. Nick has started to upload some gameplay clips and stuff like that, and I've been meaning to re-upload a lot more stuff there. So go follow that channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. We got our TikTok, of course, which have been super blowing up here recently. So that's always, yeah, it's always been fun. It's like what was it like back in the day? It was like Elden Ring that really kind of kicked off our.
Yeah.
Or, no, I think it was Halo.
Halo
Infinite might have
Halo
been,
Infinite.
and then Elden Ring, and then it's just been kind of.
And then some Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom, yeah. Every year or so, we get like a really big push from stuff that we upload, and sometimes it's dumb stuff, sometimes it's informative stuff. So
yeah, it's all fun though.
It's all fun. It's all fun. So yeah, that would be greatly appreciated. And thanks for being here, and we will see you